so as you just saw, we got passed by that paddler just up there. Should have just included that footage. She's going okay. As expected, I'm not overly confident in this mount. I'm going to need to firm that up before I can crank it up a little bit and probably get that motor a little bit higher out of the water. You can see the water's coming up quite here, so quite high. So this canoe sits fairly low in the water, so you can see the water's lapping up here. In theory, if it gets up too high, it's just going to rush off the back there anyway, rather than coming in. We've got a bit of a lip there. So that's the theory anyway. Now let's talk about, I guess, the benefits of a electric versus the petrol that we've got here. Obviously when you're starting these are already in gear, so especially when you're first starting them up, you first charge them up and you've got to have the choke on, a little bit of throttle, and you're sitting in the canoe and you're yanking on this thing and your balance isn't great, and next thing she's going and you're rocketing off at speed. So that's something you've got to get used to. Obviously with an electric, there's no warming up. It's just on and off, and you can have it on the slower speed, and you click the button and away you go, nice and slow. And if you want to crank it up, obviously electric's not going to keep the speed that this thing is. I had that literally just on idle, you can see there. Probably could have gone a little bit slower. Obviously the choke off because she's warmed up nicely, and it was moving along reasonably well. It was paddle speed. As you can see, that guy in the racing canoe was passing us, but obviously on the lower speed I've got a lot to work with there, providing that I can get the balance sorted out, get the mount sorted out, and get it working. But overall, yeah, look, pretty happy. It is a bit difficult to reach around these buttons for the stop, pretty hard to push in, so to get it stopped took a little bit of focus. Considering this is the maiden voyage, everything's going to be fine. It's just a case of getting used to it and where to sit. When I first started it up and it took off and I was up and the front come up and I was leaning this way and had it turned the other way, and it was a bit of a shit fight. Also, I'm not too keen, as you see when I was just doing a bit of a turn there, I had it in a fairly broad sort of turn. I didn't sort of crank it right around. The canoe's fairly wide, obviously it's not the most manoeuvrable, and because of the way the mount is at the moment, I wasn't overly keen to crank it and see what happened. But ultimately, it's a nice way to get around. It's pretty comfortable. It'll be more comfortable once I get some seats sorted out. But you can see the rain there. I have a bit more of a putt. We'll cut some footage in as we go. Interesting enough, as I'm just paddling along here, turning the GPS on to try and get just a sort of a low speed test. I heard a bit of a buzz, and lo and behold, old mate back here in his kayak with a petrol motor. Got it going on. It's nice and slow like me. It sounds more like probably just a whippersnapper of some sort, but no, he's got it going on. He's got his hat, he's got the whole thing. So here we go at low speed. Not sure if you can see that. The clocking just under 6k's, somewhere between 5.5 and 6k's an hour if I can keep it straight. As you can see, that's on the lowest throttle point there. It's a little bit twitchy. This thing actually tends to be reasonably manoeuvrable for how wide it is. It sits fairly light on the water. As said, I don't want to crank it too much. Happy just to paddle along and, proof of concept. And at a reasonable height, 6k's an hour. That's probably jogging pace, I suppose. Oh, maybe a walking pace. It's probably a walking pace, a good walking pace. Certainly easy to walk in there, I'll tell you that for nothing. And as you can see, that front sitting reasonably high, although it would be sitting up with my fat ass in the back anyway. It's yeah, nice and relaxed. Looking forward to I don't know, I guess improving the mount and the way I've got it set up, make the thing a bit more comfortable for getting around rather than just leaning on the back. But as you can see, we can kick back, put the feet up, grab it like that, and just have a bit of a putt along. Dog will be just about right at the front there, I imagine. He'll love it, or he'll bail out, one or the other. As you can see, that water's coming up pretty high there, so we don't really want to go much faster to put that front up, because as the front goes up, back goes down. Once I get back in, I'll show you how much it sort of leans to one side because of the weight of the motor. As you can see, old mate there's having a bit of a go, and not too far from keeping up from him. Gonna get down here, just having a bit of practice at turning this thing, seeing how comfortable she is. So once I get a seat and I'm not literally sitting on the bottom of the canoe, this should get a bit more comfortable. We'll see if we give her a good turn. Get a reasonable turning circle going on. Probably wouldn't want to do too much more than that. Not overly tight. It does definitely turn better to the left. You can see we've got quite a rate of turn going up there. Quite like that myself. So it's probably I don't know, 5 metre turning radius, give or take. Probably tighten that up a little bit, but we don't want to get too keen because our arse is sitting pretty close to the water. But yeah, bit of fun. I'd say thoroughly enjoying this. Just sitting out and having a paddle. It'd be nice to have a bit of ballast at the front. We'll make some consideration there, but obviously I want to try and counteract that a little bit because right now the kayak's lightweight. I can chuck it up on my shoulders and, you know, carry it down. If I've got to start putting too much shit in it, almost defeats the purpose of having the lightweight canoe. So we can come up with that. I was considering just getting a 20 litre tub of water or something and throwing it up the front, but which I can fill and empty down by the water side, and it's lightweight, you know, having to rather than carry it down there. Anyway, not too bad. Good way to get around. We're hitting close to 7 k's an hour there. Just got the motor up just a little bit. Just seems happy to run just off idle. It doesn't seem to be too much difference as far as speed goes. We picked up about an extra k an hour, give or take. I was running about 5.5 and somewhere between about 6.5 and 7, depending on what the wind's doing, the current, I guess. I'm going to run it like that. It's a little bit more flex on the actual mount, but I'm reasonably happy with it, and the front doesn't come up too much. A little duck up there. There's a couple of, hello you two. Now I was considering going out onto the lake. There's a bit of wind around and you can see there's a bit of chop. So I think what we might do is turn our house around and consider that the day. It's going to get out a little bit further and we'll turn around. It's quite shallow going through under this bridge. I've been through here on the kayak a number of times. Really got to get back in the middle there. Just cut right through the guts. The other thing is it's a little bit difficult to navigate. You can see that's sort of my view there. So the front comes up reasonably high. And you'll be careful where you're going. To the question, what she looked like with the weight of that motor on one side, and here's your answer. She sits well down on one side. The other challenge is, as you know, when you saw me setting up that motor with my fat ass in the back, or my weight in the back at least, you can see that's actually touching down. So when I come in, I've got to make sure I come in this side to the shore, and even then, like, that's touching down to see. Obviously it's going to depend on the profile of the shoreline and stuff when you come in, and it is fairly shallow through here at the best of times, albeit that this is I don't know, close to high tide. It's just one of the lakes, creeks that feed the lake just down there. All in all, a good result. We'll pull that off and we'll get home